Greetings! Welcome to the devlog for hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. We're going to start off as always with a quick sound check. Make sure your speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful. So what have we got for you this week? Well, this week is a feature preview for what's going to come in next week's alpha, and what it's focused on is a bunch of much needed sort of UI UX improvement. It's sort of been my focus lately. The work is oftentimes not terribly exciting, I'll be honest with you. It's sort of like it's eat your vegetables kind of work, but it's super important. So the first thing I want to show off is, after some response from you folk, I've changed a few things about how our scoring controller works in the indoor range. A lot of folk were frustrated by the 15-shot set limit, which I had originally designed in for performance reasons, in terms of just like the number of indications, looking nice on the menu, but we have adjusted that. So if I grab our 226 here, and let's toss a few more rounds down range so that we're past 15 shots on the set limit. There we go. Let's take a look at what we have here. So we can now see that there's a set total, tells us our total number of shots, total number of points, as well as our average score across the set. We can look at the next set of hits or the previous set, and we can do this on the sheet as well. Note that it will regardless always have an orange indicator there for the last shot that I fired. Go back to timings, and of course this is fairly unbounded. I'm sure once you have thousands and thousands of shots, there's probably something in the interface code that'll run a little slower, but it should be able to handle that pretty much fine. So let's begin ourselves a new set. So you can now grab a drum like so, pop that up. Go through there, and we got all 60 of our hits there that we can evaluate, see our score, etc. Need to add my beep sound to that. Wonderful. So there we have that. The other thing that I spent way too much time on this week, let's set that to lock, is our ammo spawning panel, which has finally gotten quite a facelift. And so the way this works now, we've got a couple new types of features. One of which is that we now have ammos sorted into categories along the left: tiny, pistol, shotgun, intermediate, full power, etc. You can see with something like pistol, we've got a whole bunch of them, so we have several pages of it to look at. We can spawn cartridges as normal. Did that? There we go. Didn't have a type selected there. And we can, but this has been long requested. Let's say I don't have the almost 400 guns in the game committed to memory and what they fire like a normal person, and I'm like, I don't know what this fires. This is still not helpful to me. We can just click select held type. It will jump us to the correct category and ammo type, allowing us to very rapidly pick the ammo that we need, which should hopefully also help you learn what the various ammos for everything is. Select held type, intermediate, 5.56, 45 millimeter, API, fill, held object. Wonderful. So hopefully this interface will be a lot friendlier for you folk. Wonderful. Love those boop noises. So this took way too long to do this, especially that like auto lookup that picks the correct category and type. That was dumb to get working, but finally did it after far too many off by one array errors. So there you have it. Those are the two main things I have to show to you this week. Let's go ahead and jump out of VR and talk about next week's alpha. Yo! So, what else are we working on? Basically, now that the paper target system is mostly working, there's some tweaks to exactly how damage works for the sort of strong mode for the target. It clearly needs to be knocked down a little bit. Basically, it's content time for it. We're going to fill out a bunch of sort of paper target categories for it. Some will have some interesting scoring modes that will actually cause your score to go down, not just up. I made a couple weeks back on stream a bunch of sort of like SOSIG silhouette targets of various fun SOSIG characters. Those are going to go in. IPSC regulation ones are going to go in, and then a couple sort of more exotic, sort of gamey ones. We'll put a dartboard in there, see how that works, etc. So yeah, so that's basically what is going on with the indoor range target. Once I know that's all the content's in and it's 100% working, it will be installed in the indoor range and in the sniper range, and that will end up bringing this alpha cycle to a close, primarily because I just don't want to stay in alpha forever, because a huge percentage of users don't ever switch their builds. They aren't aware that the new content is even happening, and so I don't want to just get bogged down. I'd rather do a clean update. What is it, 90? I think it's 90 release, and then move on to the next set of things, which is some sandbox tools and content that and sort of scene cleanup that is more generally aimed at the rest of the game, which of course I will talk about in more detail once I have something special to show you folks on that front. In many ways, working on this update in this alpha cycle has been a bit of a dry run of getting in a particular sort of headspace to doing that work, which is sort of working a bit more slowly and carefully instead of a like, let's throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks, but actually just the patient like, is this a data structure I want to be married to forever for this? Is this UI actually clean and usable and readable, and does it do all the things I need it to do? That's sort of like patient, careful design work that like isn't super exciting to do. It's super tedious to actually work on. Like just that ammo panel, that was like just an entire long focused day of tearing my hair out just to get the UI part of it working. And I was reusing most of the irritating math for sort of crawling my database from the prior ammo panels. So every time you make a sort of a virtual device like that with an interface, it's sort of like writing another entire piece of software. And you can either do it badly, which is what I normally do because I just want it to work quickly, or you can do it correctly and take your time, which is what I'm really trying to do with a lot of these, both the new interfaces I'm creating for new content, but also just slowly going back and going, all right, here's a panel, let's make the buttons work like they work on all the other panels, let's get the UI language a little more consistent, etc. Just to, yeah, just putting some polish on some long needed things. So yeah, so anyway, next week I'll have something a little more exciting for you than interface panels. There'll be a new toy or two along with the new content for the indoor range target. So I will see you folks all next week, and I hope you have a wonderful long weekend. Peace.